All right, we should be live. Awesome. Let me just get set up here. All right. All right. It looks like we're live. So, hello everyone. Welcome back to another live session here with Accuplan. I'm Nick Barker, the host for today. I'm thrilled to be joined with Ben, also from Accuplan. And today we'll be discussing an exciting product that we offer, the checkbook IRA. It's known as many different things. Some people call it also the ICO, checkbook control IRA, and the list goes on. But we're going to be talking about it today as the checkbook IRA. Throughout this live, we'll walk you through everything that you need to know about this tool that can really take your retirement funds to the next level. As always, this is meant to help you guys with any questions you may have. So throughout this live, if you have any questions, shoot them our way. Specifically at the end, we will set a time apart for those questions where we answer them and go through them all. But if you have a question, get them in. I will start with the first ones that come in. So make sure you get your questions in. But as always, Ben, it's great to have you here with us today.
Thanks. Yeah, it's great to be here to talk about checkbook controlled IRAs. This is a topic that a lot of our listeners and our clients are very interested in. So I'm excited to talk about this.
Yeah, great. I will briefly mention that the last time we had a live, we talked about self-directed basics for self-directed IRAs. Most of all of that stuff still applies today. If you have questions specifically about self-directed IRAs and not so much checkbook control, again, feel free. This is, while we have a main topic, we're here to talk about anything related to the self-directed investing realm of IRAs and 401ks. So shoot any question you have our way. But I just wanted to mention that everything that we talked about last time basically still applies here today. And we'll probably likely go over a little bit of that as well today. But let's jump straight into the basics here. Ben, explain to us what a checkbook IRA is and how it differs from just a standard self-directed IRA.
Yeah. So as we discussed kind of earlier, our last webinar, a self-directed IRA is an IRA where you can invest in more non-traditional investing. When you think about investing in an IRA, most people think about stocks, bonds, mutual funds. They go to Fidelity, they go to Schwab, and they're just doing stocks, bonds, mutual funds. We allow you to do more than stocks, bonds, mutual funds. With a checkbook controlled IRA, you have direct control over the investment. What that means is you are the one that are picking the investments, but you're also writing the checks, moving the money around, giving you the ability to do the transactions yourself rather than having the custodian do the transactions for you.
Awesome. Awesome. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a little bit more flexible. So that's the very, very basics. Now, with that flexibility in mind, what are people doing with a checkbook IRA? What are some of those common investments that people are making?
The most common investments that people do in a checkbook controlled IRA are going to be real estate or real estate related products. So they're buying property, they're buying land, they're doing tax liens, trust deeds, they're doing loans. You can also do more than that. You can do gold and silver, you can do cryptocurrency. So those are all available as well. Those are not as popular in checkbook controlled IRA. The most popular ones that we've seen are going to be real estate related products. And the reason why is there's typically more transactions with real estate, and typically time is of the essence. I have clients that they want to go down to the county because there's going to be an auction for a house. And when you go down to the county and you want to bid on a house, you have to have the cash available immediately. You can't wait 2 weeks or a week to even get that money. So the checkbook controlled option, if you have it, there is the ability to purchase the property on the spot. So the timing of it is very easy, as opposed to a custodian who's going to take a couple days to review and do the documentation and send the funds out.
Awesome. Yeah. So the options are diverse, right? As far as what you can do here. If you're curious about specific investment types that you're looking at, and would the Would a checkbook IRA be beneficial? Shoot us those questions. Contact us, later, whatever. But let's jump into some of the advantages of checkbook IRA. We've already talked a little bit about it, but Ben, why might somebody choose this type of IRA rather than not getting that little addition onto it?
Some of the main advantages, we hit on one of them, which is the timing. The speed of being able to have checkbook control obviously is very beneficial. Another advantage is that you save in transaction fees. So if we have to send money out, we have to review the documentation, and there's going to be a $9 transaction fee. For private stock, if you bought private stock, it's probably not a big deal to not do the checkbook controlled IRA because you're buying buying the stock, and then you're not doing anything else. But with real estate, there's a lot of transactions typically involved. You got to buy the property, you have to pay property taxes, you have to pay insurance. Maybe you're paying the utility bills for the client, for the people that are staying there. So there's going to be some transactions. So you're saving on timing, but you're also saving in not paying transaction fees to us because you're doing the transaction, not us.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you can kind of look at those at least in my mind, those two main benefits of speed or time, like you say, or even just saving on the side of transaction fees. Of course, there's different fees and whatnot with setting up an LLC and all that. But in the long run, if you're doing tons of transactions, it may be beneficial for you to have that checkbook IRA so that you're not having to pay all those fees. But at the end of the day, it's incredibly beneficial. Now, let's dive into the setup process. It's very similar to the self-directed IRA, but walk us through, Ben, how a checkbook IRA is set up and how it works.
Yeah, in the last webinar that we talked about the self-directed IRA and how to set up a self-directed IRA, and that does not change. You first need to set up an IRA account with us. You can go online, set up an account. It takes 5 to 10 minutes to set up the account, and then we transfer the money from your other custodian to us. So that process is not any different. To add the checkbook controlled option, what needs to happen there is you need to fill an application out. We have an online application that we can send you. You fill out the application with the name of the LLC, the address, who the managers are going to be. We will then take that information, we'll go down to the state, and we'll file documentation with the state to give you a name and a manager for your LLC. Once the state has approved everything, then we'll go to the IRS and we'll get an EIN number with the IRS. Once the IRS has an approved EIN number given to us, the final step is to prepare all the documentation. So there's going to be an operating agreement, a membership ledger, an operating guide that we'll provide to you, that then you can go down to your local bank, set up a bank account in the name of the LLC, and then you will direct your IRA funds that we're holding to go into that LLC bank account. The LLC will then purchase the investment.
Awesome. So it may sound kind of like a lot of different steps, but that's kind of why we're here. We help streamline the process. Now, you mentioned LLC in there. So what are the benefits of using an LLC kind of in this structure here?
So in order to have checkbook controlled, you have to have an LLC. So that's going to be a requirement, because if you don't have an LLC, then obviously we have to send the money out. But the second benefit of an LLC, if you're familiar with LLCs, is that they have limited liability protection. So there is protection for you if you're investing in risky assets, say a piece of property, which may have some inherent risk to it. The LLC will give you some personal protection to personally protect you from any liability. So there are some protections in place that help when you have an LLC structure. Another advantage of an LLC is if you partner with someone else. So let's say that me and you wanted to go buy a piece of property and we're going to partner with it. The LLC allows us to pool that money together into one entity and have that entity purchase the property, rather than having 2 or 3 people buy into the property directly and having 3 or 4 people on title with the property itself.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, so yeah, okay. You get the layer of protection, plus you get a little bit more flexibility in some of that managing of the investments. Cool. Now, there's a saying that probably everybody's heard, but with great power comes great responsibility. I say that somewhat jokingly here, but at the end of the day, what I really mean here is, look, these are still self-directed accounts. Self-directed IRA. This is a self-directed IRA with checkbook control. So you're gonna need to know your stuff here as far as some of the critical rules and regulations that you need to follow. So, Ben, what are some of those critical rules and regulations that our listeners need to be aware of when they're using their checkbook IRA?
In our last webinar that we did, we talked a little bit about some of the basics and some of the. We won't go into a lot of that today, but you cannot invest with a related party. So yourself, your parents, children, grandchildren, um, and up and down the food chain, you cannot invest with. They're off limits. The checkbook controlled LLC does not change anything. The rules are still the same. So if you cannot invest with a child in an IRA account, you cannot invest with a child in an LLC. So you need to make sure that you understand the rules, the procedures, the do's and don'ts to make sure that you stay in compliant, that you're not doing something that you should not do. What I tell people is, I'm giving you a loaded gun. You just need to understand how to properly use that gun in order to benefit yourself. So the LLC has a lot of benefits, but it gives you a lot of control. So when it comes to record keeping, IRS regulations, you need to make sure that you're doing things properly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for breaking that down. I think really, like you said, there might be a lot of rules. We talked about it last time in our last webinar live, and so jump onto that. We talked a little bit more about some of the rules, but um, any questions that you may have about specific rules or something you're curious about or investment you're curious about, put them in the chat. We'll get that. We'll get to that at the end. But managing all these complexities can often feel a little overwhelming, and that's where our expert guidance comes in. Ben, tell everybody how Accuplan supports our clients, how we help navigate these challenges that either come up with, say, a checkbook IRA or just self-directed IRAs in general.
Yeah, one of the things that separates our company, Accuplan, maybe from some other companies is we provide ongoing consulting and maintenance. I'm not a CPA, I'm not an attorney, but I've been doing this for about 20 years, so I've got a lot of knowledge and expertise. And when we sell you a LLC, we also sell you a guide. That guide is about a 20-page document that goes through all of the rules and procedures, do's and don'ts. So if you read that guide, you will know everything you can do and what you cannot do. Some of the other companies out there, they sell you an operating agreement. That's it. They're not there to support you. They're not there to answer your questions. From our standpoint, if you have a question, you want to set up an account, call us up, ask us those questions. Can I invest with this person? Is this person disqualified? And we will help you to navigate the do's and don'ts, because with this checkbook controlled LLC, we are not managing it for you. It's self-directed control. You're managing it, you're controlling it, which gives you a lot of flexibility, but it also makes it so that you can do potentially things that are disqualified. So we will be there to help you with those issues and concerns that you may have.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, Ben, we're not CPAs, attorneys, but there's a lot of experience there. There's a lot of time in with Accuplan as far as our knowledge. We've been doing this for, like Ben said, he's been doing it specifically for 20 years. I mentioned this in our last live. I'll mention it again. Literally, just about every employee here has 5-10 years. I feel like I'm one of the newbies here, and I've been here 10 years now. Actually 11 years almost. And so with that comes a lot of, beneficial knowledge. We've talked to many clients, we've heard all the things. And so there's a rare scenario where we get questions that we haven't heard of before. But the great thing is if there is a question we don't know the answer to now, we do our research, we dive in, we figure out the best answer, and we get back to you. So we are here to support you and make this a great, self-directed investing experience for you. Now, that's how we support you. But for those interested in actually getting started today, or wanting more information, or just setting up an account now, Ben, how can they go about doing that?
There are a couple of different things that they can do. First, they can go to our website, Accuplan.net. That has all the information that we talked about today, the rules and procedures, the do's and don'ts. The applications are all there online. So they can go directly to our website. If they want to talk or meet with me beforehand or discuss a certain specific options that they want to consider, they can call me at 801-683-9291. It is at the bottom of the screen. They can also text that number, or they can send me an email, ben@accuplan.net. I do respond to emails fairly quickly. I can send them application. I can send them pricings. We can set up a meeting through a calendar where they discuss their needs and their wants. Any three of those options are at their disposal for setting up an account.
Awesome. It's really not that hard. So it just requires you to, call us or go onto our site, email Ben, and that's the start of the process. Now, now actually is a time where we can look at some questions. Let's see. I don't think we had any come in, which is fine. There was one question that you might have touched on it. I don't remember if you did, but a question I had was about if it comes time to tax season, Ben, and we are, you're filing your taxes. Now that I have checkbook, let's say I have the checkbook IRA set up, that's all good to go. What is the different process now for me with taxes? Am I going to have to file some extra, you know, articles or things that I need to file because now I have a checkbook IRA?
Yeah, I mean, it seems a little kind of undaunting to have an LLC like this. Can I do that? Is it going to be too much paperwork, too much involved that I don't want to do it? The LLC is very easy to set up. We set up
Mhm.
the entire process, so it's not going to be that difficult to complete the LLC setup. From an ongoing standpoint, if you are considered a single member LLC, which is a one owner, the IRS considers single member LLCs as a disregarded entity, which basically means there is no tax return required with the IRS for a disregarded entity. The income gets reported to the owner. Since the IRA is the owner, there's no tax return that's required. So you would not have any additional LLC IRS paperwork for single member LLCs. If you had a partnership, me and you were in the business together, there would be a filing that you would need to do for the LLC. Besides that, the only annual thing that you need to do if you are a single member LLC is you need to keep the name current with your state. So every year you're going to get an email or a piece of paper in the mail that says, in order to maintain your name, go online and send us $100, $200 to keep the name current. That's really the only thing that you do annually with the LLC to stay current, is make sure that the state is current and it's up to date.
Cool. So not really much there, but that's good to know. The other question that still there's no questions. If you have a question, shoot one in. But another question I have that is the cost structure, and I actually have a slide for that. But how much, Ben, are we? Do we charge? What does the cost look from the client standpoint? If I want a checkbook IRA, what does that look like as far as the fees?
So there's two costs involved. The first cost is to have the IRA account. We charge $350, 349. I say 350 because it's easier to say it, but we charge 349.95 per year to have an IRA account with us, and that's $50 setup fee. So the first year you're going to be paying roughly $400, and then you pay 350 annually from an IRA standpoint. To set up an LLC, we charge a one-time setup fee of $995 plus the state filing fee. The state filing fees range from $100 to $300, give or take. So you're going to be in the realm of $1,200 total. Ongoing fees, the only ongoing fees are the custodial fees of $349, and then keeping the name current with the state, $100 to $300 for that fee.
Okay, cool. Now, so it's 350 plus the 50. That's just the IRA side of things. That's what you have regardless of the checkbook. We're basically kind of combining two products here, but you still get to do all your self-directed IRA investing, but you get the benefit of the checkbook, and that's where the 995 one-time fee comes in. So Not too bad. For all intents and purposes, for all of my research that I've done, really competitive fee. A lot of different custodians are charging. I mean, would you say like $1,500, even
Mhm.
2,000, and some even like 3,000. Like it can. The range is quite wide here, but even though we're charging 995, it's not half as good as anybody else's. It's as equal or better than just about everybody's out there. Like again, we know our stuff. We have all the documentation you need. Like Ben said, you set this up, you get a guide. You get a, what'd you say, 20 some odd page guide from us,
Mhm.
to help you out. So um, that's how much it costs, and that's kind of the structure there. Any other questions? Feel free to shoot them in real quick. I will say this about uh, checkbook control. Look, going back to what we said at the beginning, if you want to move fast with investments, you don't want to be held back waiting for the custodian to okay it and direct your investment for you. The checkbook IRA might just be for you. Second, if you're doing a ton of transactions with your self-directed IRA, you're doing 5, 10 a month or whatever it may be, right? A checkbook IRA might be for you. So think about that. But at the end of the day, like I think it's a good product. It's a good addition to really soup up the self-directed IRA. Ben, I think, for at least from all that I can think here, that I don't know if there's anything else that we've left uncovered here, but any thoughts from you?
No, I mean, this product, as I mentioned, it's a great product. It's a unique product, so it's not a product that everyone needs or may need to utilize. But it is definitely a powerful product for those that want to have checkbook control. And as I mentioned earlier, this a lot of times comes down to real estate deals. It's typically easier to buy property in an LLC as far as the titling of IRAs are different than titlings for an LLC. And the LLC, as I mentioned, and you mentioned, there is transactions involved in real estate. So cryptocurrency, you probably don't need to do an LLC for cryptocurrency because you can do that very seamlessly online. So some deals may not be beneficial for an IRA checkbook controlled, but I will say a lot of times with real estate, or if you just want the flexibility to do the transactions yourself, the LLC is the best product.
Yeah. Well, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but let's say you have like a rental property, right? And you need to do things as simple as paying somebody because the AC went down. And so somebody comes in, repairs it, da, 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 da. You need to pay that through your IRA, right? But if you have the checkbook control, that would be way easier than telling the custodian, "Hey, look, I need to pay this bill. Hey, look, I need to pay this bill." Right?
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Those are the main benefits is
yeah.
that you're able to do stuff on the spot. You can go down to Home Depot and buy some lamps or some whatever you need to do for the rental property rather than having to have the custodian pay those bills for you. Correct.
Yeah, okay. So I think hopefully it's becoming, pretty clear. We've given you the insights that you need, hopefully, to get started with the checkbook IRA if it's right for you. What I'd say here is, look, follow us on all of our socials. Reach out to us. We are here to answer any questions, talk about self-directed investing. But today's session is all about checkbook control, and we hope that you've found something beneficial here. Thank you for listening and being here with us. We'll be here again. We're doing these lives generally on a month-to-month basis, so watch out for our next emails when the next live will occur. Or, like always, you can just click the bell icon for notifications to know when we go live. Um, but thank you, Ben, for jumping on with us and giving us your expertise today. Again, there's no comments, so I think we can just end it there unless you have anything else.
Nope. I'm excited to help people with their investments and try and make them successful.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, again. Thanks for listening. Thanks for following us. And again, we're here to help you with reach your retirement goals. So reach out at any time. Have a good day, everybody.
Thanks.